And we're back. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Once again, I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with my guest, Alessandra Belloni. So we were just talking about music and you know, where we met and school and people going asunder. And some people did really well.
Absolutely. I'm very proud of all of you guys.
A few of them have really made names for themselves. And we were talking about some of the things that I got into and, you know, dedicating your life to something and then realizing there's a point where maybe making money from this is not the best plan of action. If you want to
continue, it depends where you live.
It depends on where you live and what you want. So for me, there were particular things I wanted from music. I had this very intimate relationship with it throughout my life, and I didn't want to taint that with what the industry was requiring, and that was starting to happen. So I was like,
interesting.
and then these opportunities, especially in hospitality, came my way. And like you were just mentioning, there are very strong correlations between food
and music.
And
well, in Italy it is.
Yeah, right. I mean, everywhere it is. I think it's whether you recognize it or not. You know, I mean, in the States, it's like blues and barbecue. You know, which is what I grew up on, being from Nashville, and
I never thought of that.
that was it. It was like blues and barbecue, and that was really the foundation for me. And that also just coming directly from Africa, like straight up. You know, it's like
Southern Italy is the same.
Roasted animals and your lamentation. You know, like that was, and that's been the cornerstone of what I've done, what I've continued to do. So I got that creative outlet still, and then now I get to choose without worrying about is this going to pay my bills or not, what I want to do musically, which really was liberating and fantastic. So I still have a studio, I still write and produce. Beautiful. And now I'm starting to work with my children on things. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, there's still, we have 3 frame drums actually just like laying around the house. I'm telling you, this is like serendipity.
I'll be teaching at NYU in January.
Oh, really, man?
They're free classes. I mean,
they would love it.
You would bring them.
You would all get along so well. And we have a little one. We have a 1-year-old too.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. That was an accident.
Actually, that technique that you find quite difficult, kids learn it fast.
Yeah, I bet. Well, kids learn everything.
That rotation of the hand.
Kids learn.
Can I do that?
Right. It's all the stupid shit I did along the way that prevented my hand.
Without going to the.
No, this is my battle. Like with all things, like martial arts, with drumming. Like I realized, all that thing I did for like 20 years is what's slowing me down right now, and I have to unlearn it.
Really. To
get better. But kids, like with language, they can learn
pick it up fast.
You know, 20 languages by the time they're 5, and we struggle like me. It's allora.
But you have an Italian restaurant, you gotta speak some Italian.
Well, I can say like a caciucco. I can say the words. I have good diction.
But so you know that this music that I specialize in is for festivals.
Yeah.
For the Madonna,
I remember that.
So everything that is done ceremonial is with lots of great food.
Yes.
And wine. And because it goes back to the ancient rites of Dionysus, the goddess, it's ceremonial.
We have lots of wine too.
And I think that's important that people in this country need to understand that food is ceremonial.
Yes.
And especially Italian food is very good. So I think it's the healthiest. And in our tradition, it's all together. You see people first eat and then drum and then drink. And really that whole aspect of it is healing. Yeah. So when I teach my workshops for the long retreats, I always choose a place where the food is excellent and fresh. Yeah. Because there's no way you can heal your body and your mind if you're eating bad food.
No, that's an emphasis for us too. Like at the restaurant, all of our pastas are fresh.
Fantastic.
We make them
big
daily.
Difference.
Yes.
Wow.
We don't have a fryer. We don't fry anything. We bake and we saute. And the emphasis is really, I want to take it a step further and get to where we're really sourcing everything regionally, like trying to find fresh flour to make the fresh pasta in the States is so difficult or prohibitively expensive that people just wouldn't come. Yeah. But if I could make that transition,
that's fantastic.
I would really do that
because night together.
Absolutely, definitely.
Just for fun.
There's so many things. Yeah, this isn't the last time. You haven't seen The Last of Us. Yes. But you have to feed your body the same way you feed your soul.
Absolutely. Yes.
And another really strong martial arts value. Same thing. Yeah, it's just like you can't expect to put in, junk and get out strength. You can't plant orange seeds and get apples. Like you have to be very conscious, both mentally and physically, of what's going in and out. So feeding your mind. I think the food is a great representation. Like we know that when, like if you want to, have health, you don't eat shit and sit around. You have to eat well and you have to exercise. And the same with your brain. You can't put in terrible music and watch horrible things on television and expect to have consciousness. You have to put exactly. You have to put good things in. So pick the music that you listen to the same way you would pick the food you would eat.
Absolutely. Together.
That's a big thing. So talking about music, you have an endorsement with Remo, or what's the nature?
No, actually a Remo artist, which is a big deal because they let go of everyone except me and another person.
Oh, really?
Well, what happened is a long time ago, Remo Belli, the creator of Remo, who was an incredible man, he passed away 2.5 years ago, and he was my mentor. He had decided with Glenn Velez, the famous frame drummer, to design certain instruments for different artists. So each artist brought in their ideas, their mastery of what they played, but then he came in and created the instruments. So I was blessed that I met him back in 1995, 96 through Glenn, and he loved me and he loved what I did. Plus he was Italian and he really understood the culture. Food for Remo was super important. That's why he was fit, great brain. So he died, out of pneumonia, but it shocked everyone because he was in perfect shape. Yeah. And he always said food and drumming, and good wine. He made wine too. So with him, I designed this line of South Italian tambourines and frame drums. And when he signed me up, I had no idea what I was getting into. Completely. I didn't even know how big Remo was.
Oh, really? No,
I had no idea. Because I came from the Italian folk music world,
No, like basically every drum head ever.
And there is actually a joke that I want to share because I didn't know how important it was and who he was. And when I went to LA, to discuss my instruments, I sat there and I looked at him and I said, really, Remo, how do I know you're not going to steal my idea? Because I didn't sign a contract yet. And he laughed so hard. He said, young girl, I made so much money in my life. Cute. You think I'm going to
right. Like you're going to shake it.
And then he said, but I like you because you speak your mind. And he said, welcome to the Remo family. So this is, and
that's amazing.
So him and I developed a personal relationship. He guided me through the boards and he guided me through my spiritual journey. And he kept saying to me, you're a shaman, Alessandra. You're not just a player. And I was like shocked and scared of that word.
Right.
And he would not say that easily. I don't know. So thanks to him, the whole world.
That's really amazing. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, and then he opened the world because I started playing at Pasik.
Right.
That's where I met Anthony Miranda, and everybody saw me, and they invited me everywhere. The wild Italian gypsy woman.
Being connected with Remo is huge. You're right. Yeah. Not many people get that, and for you to just waltz in and have no clue, that's probably one of the reasons why, though, because you were just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just
absolutely
like me. I'd be shaking in my boots if I was even next to him. I'd be like, get nothing done.
True. I was always like this, and people looked at me like, how do you know Remo so well? Yeah. So I have also a close relationship with his wife, who's a holistic doctor and knows everything about health with drumming. So I don't know if you're aware, but in the last 25 years, Remo developed a section of Remo is called Health Rhythms. And he was the first one to design instruments for health, well-being, to work with autistic children, going into hospitals. He revolutionized everything. And it wasn't for money. And there is a documentary about him before he died that he says, and with the money, what do you do with the money? He said, I have to give it away. So I might as well invent things that help people to be well.
That's amazing.
And the drumming, now he has all these doctors, scientists. So when he passed away, his wife took that over.
So the program is still going.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And even with the drum circles that they do, I'm not a big fan of drum circles as a percussionist. Yeah. Probably you're not either. Not. But when I go to their main people that are the Remo people, Arthur Hall, John Fitzgerald, Francis Stevens, they're all music therapists.
Yeah.
So they use that in music therapy, and that's a different aspect of drum circles.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, for us, it's just weird.
Right. It can be. But I've been
to, be great. Yeah.
I've been to a couple, I'll say that. Yeah. That was the nature of them, and I felt
for well-being.
Yeah, and there was some sense of empowerment and healing, but a lot of them it's just like blah, 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 blah.
Right. That's the other side of the drum circle. But the real I think the real purpose that he had in mind is for a community drumming for people who are not drummers.
Yeah.
And they express each other and communicate.
Well, that's the thing. Like you really must fold in the people that are not like the elite talent,
exactly.
Because it would be selfish to say like this is only for it's for everybody.
Yeah. Otherwise,
it's really
you just show off.
But those people need it, like
very much,
probably more so than the people that
very much
understand that relationship. There's a lot of people out there who just are unaware, and they're overwhelmed by things, and they need that kind of healing more than they know, and if you could recognize that and provide that, then you're.
And now I think about it, because Remo inspired me to do that. It's more fulfilling as a teacher. I know I came to your department where you guys were all great, to teach the people who are not.
No, but that goes back to the Tony Robbins quote from the beginning. It's like that's when you and the thing I got from you when you came was that you were alive. You were not like
that's true.
This is how you play this. This is, you do it this well. You practice a lot. You'll get gigs and you'll make money. You were not like that. You were like, I'm alive.
Yes.
Let's dance.
Because it's also for dancing.
Yeah.
For movement.
And that's something I've continued to do a lot of as well. I've been taking Brazilian dance.
Now we're talking.
Pretty regularly, almost weekly.
Samba or?
Mainly samba, but we also do a lot of the original Angolese forms.
Oh,
a lot of Afro-Shea. So we'll warm up a lot with Afro-Shea. And we just had our holiday party this past Sunday.
Where did you go?
Oh, it's in Brooklyn.
Okay.
There's a teacher. She teaches at Brooklyn College and a number of other schools. Her name is Luca Mimbella. She's going to be on the show at some point too. She's fantastic.
Because I'm hiring Brazilians actually a lot in my shows.
This is just the beginning. There's some great stuff. So I got to play. I played cajon, and there was a drum set player, and I danced for the first half, and then I sat in and played while we did this just
fantastic
spiritualistic dance. But that same thing, just that movement makes me so happy. And it's on Sundays, which is the only day the martial arts school is closed.
Check it out.
And I need that daily. I need that. Something has to happen with my body daily to spark that sense of joy and happiness. And so I get that. And then I go and have like a really long day, and I'm in just such a good mood. And if I don't go, I'm pissed off all day. Like everything's about
I must
so
say,
much more.
Not many men are like you. You know that, right?
I'm a jiu-jitsu girl.
No, because when I teach, most of my students are women, which is fine. But I would say men need to do this more.
Yeah. I've been told my whole life I'm odd, so it's okay.
No, but that's one of my inspirational things is, okay, we inspire women. We need to get women back in power. But the divine feminine has to meet the divine masculine. Otherwise, the world is really
it has to meet in the middle
so fast.
And I would not have a successful relationship with my wife and have 3 daughters and not have like wrecked everything if I wasn't able to bend and bend my masculinity and just be like, be surrounded by women and all that energy, all that madness, and keep my head and my relationship.
Well, you're blessed.
I am. But
families
you got to work on it.
Like
blessings aren't free.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah. No, that's great. All right, we're gonna take one more break, and we'll finish up with some really great upcoming events that sounds like I might be able to be a part of. We'll be back in a few minutes. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web.